Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today we're doing a Blackluster Soldier deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is a crazy, powerful chaos deck that can summon out all sorts of cool boss monsters. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Blackluster Soldier Legendary Swordsman. This card is a definite 2-of in the build, and it's actually super easy to summon to your side of the field, because by giving up your draw for your turn, you can actually add a copy of a ritual spell from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to use with this card. It also has the ability when it's on your side of the field, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects during your battle phase, and when this attacking card that was ritual summoned using a normal monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can actually shuffle all cards that your opponent controls into the deck, which is a crazy powerful effect to help you OTK your opponent. And we even have a really spicy normal monster in this build, so you can get that effect to go off. We then play a single copy of Blackluster Soldier Super Soldier. Super Soldier is a really cool 1-of in the build, but you only need a single copy of this card. It's very easy to search out in the deck and basically has like a flame wingman like ability, which is super cool. I love this card in the deck as a 1-of, but you only need a single copy in the deck. We then play 2 copies of Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning. Envoy of the Beginning is crazy powerful, but you don't want to play any more than 2 copies of this card. It's super easy to summon to your side of the field by just banishing both a light and a dark from your graveyard. You can special summon this card to your side of the field, and it has a great effect that once per turn, you can activate one of these effects to either target a monster on the field and banish that target face up, but this card can't attack the turn you activate that ability, or during the damage step, if this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it can make a second attack in a row, which is a great ability, especially with this card to be able to OTK. We then play 2 copies of Beginning Night. Beginning Night is a definite 2-of in the build because a Blackluster Soldier monster that was ritual summoned using this card gained some bonus effects, which is really cool, that once per turn, you can target a monster that your opponent controls and banish it. And when this card destroys an opponent's monster at battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can activate this effect that that monster can attack again, which is a great ability. And if this card is banished from your graveyard, you can add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. We then play 2 copies of Evening Twilight Night. This card is really good as a 2-of in the build as well, and also gives your Blackluster Soldier ritual monsters that use this card as a material some bonus effects that once per turn, you can target a monster that your opponent controls and banish it, and once per turn, banish a random card from your opponent's hand face down until your opponent's next end phase. And if this card does become banished from your graveyard, you can actually add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand, which is great to be able to search out our Blackluster Soldier ritual monsters. We then play a single copy of Super Soldier Soul. This card is a good 1-of combo piece in the deck that I really like in this build because it has a great ability to manage this card from your graveyard to add a copy of Beginning Night or Evening Twilight Night from your deck to your hand. I really like that effect on this card, and it's really helpful in this build. We then play 3 copies of Neo Space Connector. This card is really good as a normal summon because it basically just goes in for your copy of Awalt, because when this card is normal summoned to your side of the field, you can special summon out your copy of Aqua Dolphin directly from the deck, which Aqua Dolphin does give you a lot of knowledge because it helps you look at your opponent's hand, which is really, really good for this build. We then play a single copy of Infernoble Knight Renauld. Renauld is great in this build as a 1-of, just to be able to summon off your copy of Awalt. It helps out a lot in this deck to be able to summon out this card off of Awalt and grab an equip spell back out of your graveyard like your copy of Living Fossil. This card is super helpful in the build. You can also summon out your copy of Super Soldier Soul off your copy of Awalt, but usually I summon out the copy of Renauld. We then play 3 copies of Manju. Manju is really good as a normal summon in the deck besides your copy of Neo Space Connector, because when this card is normal summoned to your side of the field, you can add a ritual monster or ritual spell from your deck to your hand, essentially essentially grabbing the card that you need so you can go in for your ritual plays. We then play 3 copies of the Bysteel Lubellion. Lubellion is great in this build because it has an awesome ability. If it's in your hand or your grave, you can treat a level 6 or higher Dark Dragon monster to special summon out this card. It also has the ability you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to add a Bysteel monster from your deck to your hand, and during your main phase, when this card's on your side of the field, you can place a branded continuous spell or trap card from your deck face up on the field, which is a great effect for this card to have. We then play a single copy of Magnamut. Magnamut's really good in this build as a one-of, because this card can search a dragon monster during the end phase after this card was special summoned, which is a great effect. We then play a single copy of Druis Worm. Druis Worm is super helpful in this build as well, because this card is spot removal for monsters off the field, which is really good. We finally play a single copy of Saunir for the Bysteels. This card is really good as a one-of in the deck, because it helps you send a copy of the Bysteel monster or a branded spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard, which is an insane effect if this card is sent to the grave, which is a great ability on this card to help you send cards like Branded Regain to the graveyard so that you can put your copy of Branded Beast on your side of the field with a copy of Lubellion and get both of them on the field, because Branded Beast will put Regained back on your side of the field during the end phase, which is amazing. And then play a single copy of Black Dragon and a single copy of White Dragon. This is a Chaos deck, and these two are some of the best Chaos cards in the entire game. You either banish a light monster or a dark monster from your graveyard to special summon these cards out to your side of the field, which is amazing. And if they leave the field and they go to the graveyard, you actually get to search out either or from the opposite one, which is amazing. For example, your copy of White Dragon leaves the field, you search out your copy of Black Dragon. If Black Dragon leaves the field, you search out White Dragon, which is just super cool. Plus, these cards come in very handy in the build to be able to banish your copy of Beginning Night and Evening Twilight Night, so you can get searches while also getting a monster on the field. And a really spicy normal monster for the deck is actually going to be Dark Blade. Dark Blade is a really cool card to actually play in this build because it combos extremely well with your copy of Super Soldier Synthesis, which is why we play this card in the build, to be able to use with Super Soldier Synthesis so we can have a normal monster in the deck so we can summon out Legendary Swordsman and get its effect to be able to shuffle cards back. I absolutely love playing Dark Blade in this build because it's just super nostalgic and it's an awesome boss monster to play in the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, guys, we're going to start with a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is really good as a one-of in the deck because this card actually searches out Gateway to Chaos, which is crazy powerful. We then play a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda is really good in the deck because you can search out your copy of Neospace Connector or any card that you need from your deck that is a warrior that's level 4 or lower. We then play a single copy of Chaos Space. Chaos Space is a good one-of in the deck. This card did recently get limited, which is why we're just playing a single copy in the build, but this card is great at searching out cards like Blackluster Soldier, Envoy at the beginning, or even your copies of Lubellion. We then play a single copy of Living Fossil. Living Fossil is like Premature Burial, but this card is really good in the deck as a one-of because you can actually grab it out of the graveyard with Renaud's effect when you send it to the grave off your copy of Isolde, and this card just helps you extend your plays even further in this build. We then play a single copy of Divine Sword Phoenix Blade. Phoenix Blade comes in very handy in this build as a one-of. I just like playing 2 equip spells in this build just in case you draw into one of them to make sure that your copy of Isolde is live. But this card is really good in the build because it has a great ability. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 2 warrior monsters from your graveyard and add this card to your hand, which works really well with your copy of Evening Twilight Night and your copy of Beginning Night because it'll actually get both those cards to go off and give you a double search, which is insane. I love this card in the build and it's very powerful in the deck. We then play a single copy of Branded Regained. Branded Regained is really good at working with the Bysteel cards we're playing in the deck, and this card is super powerful as a one-of. We then play a single copy of Super Soldier Ritual. This card comes in very handy at helping us summon out our Blackluster Soldier Ritual monsters. We then play 3 copies of Super Soldier Synthesis. Synthesis is the best ritual spell in the deck, and this card is a great ability. This card can be used to ritual summon any Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster from your hand or grave. You must also send a light and a dark monster, one from your hand and one from your deck, to the graveyard, whose total levels exactly equal 8, which is why we play the one copy of Dark Blade in the deck, because we can send light monsters to the graveyard like our copy of Manju or our copy of Beginning Night, which is amazing to be able to do in the deck, to basically just get those cards in the grave with a copy of Dark Blade, so that we can guarantee that we're going to get the effect of Legendary Swordsman, which is just so cool. We then play 3 copies of Gateway to Chaos. This card is basically the Rhoda for the deck, that when this card is activated, you get a Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability for this card to have. It also has the ability that each time a monster is sent from the hand or field to the grave, you place a spell counter on this card for each of those cards, maximum 6. And once per turn, you can move 3 spell counters from this card to add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability to be able to search out our copy of Super Soldier Synthesis or search out a copy of Super Soldier Ritual. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, guys, we're just going to be playing one, and that's going to be a single copy of Branded Beast. Branded Beast is really good to be able to work with our buy-steal cards because it helps us pop cards on the field. And this card is great to be able to work with your copy of Sawnir and Branded Regain because it has the ability during your end phase, you can actually target a branded continuous spell or trap in the graveyard and place it face up on the field. So you can use your copy of Sawnir to send a copy of your Branded Regain to the graveyard and then put this card on the field with Lubellium and then use this card's ability during end phase to get a copy of Branded Regain to your side of the field, which is crazy powerful. I love that about this card, and it's a really powerful card. It's just popping cards off the field. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start with a single copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. This card is a crazy powerful card that when this card destroys a monster by battle, it gains one of these abilities. It gains 1500 attack points, it can make a second attack during the battle phase of your next turn, or banish a card off the field, which is amazing to be able to spot remove cards off the field. And if this card was link summoned using a level 7 or higher monster as material, your opponent cannot target it with card effects, which is a really awesome effect to be able to use on this card. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either, which is just absolutely insane. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code's really good in the deck to be able to just pop cards off the field, and this card can come out absolutely massive. We then play a single copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. Avermax is really good to be able to make with your copy of IP Masquerena, because if you make this card with Masquerena, it's pretty much immortal, which is crazy. We then play a single copy of Appaloosa. Appaloosa is great in this deck as a 1-up, just to be able to use for a monster negate. We then play a single copy of Unicorn to spin stuff. One copy of Dynamundo. Dynamundo is really good in just about any ritual deck, and I absolutely love this card in the deck, because if this card is special summoned, you can target one card on the field and a ritual monster in your graveyard, shuffle both into the deck, which is a great effect just to spot remove cards off the field. And during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can tribute this card and then target a ritual monster in the graveyard and either add it to your hand or special summon it, which is a pretty cool ability. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps. A single copy of Azul to be able to use for our Azul combos, especially with Neospace Connector. This card is really good in the deck as a 1-up, and also can search out basically any warrior monster you want from your deck. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena. IP is really good to be able to step into your copies of Appaloosa or Nightmare Unicorn during the opponent's turn, or even your copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. We then play a single copy of Alamirage. Alamirage is good in the deck as a 1-up because when you normal summon out one of your copies of your Beginning Night or Evening Twilight Night, you can link them away to be able to summon out this card and then use one of your buy-steal monsters to banish them from the graveyard to get a search. Or you can use this card with Super Soldier Ritual to search out one of your copies of the Mini Knights, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Time Thief Redoer. Redoer is really good in this deck because it's one of the best rank 4s in the entire game, and it's very easy to summon in this build. We then play a a single copy of Baguska just in case we need to slow down the game. This card is really good. Play a single copy of number 60 in case we need to double the attack of a monster, draw 2 and discard 1, or get a monster reborn. We then play a single copy of Double A Zeus. Double A Zeus is really good in this build as a 1-of because this card just board wipes the field, and you usually use Time Thief Redoer to be able to step into this card. We then play finally a single copy of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is a great Chaos card. It's very easy to summon in this deck because you can use cards like Manju with one of your Bysteals to be able to step into this card because it doesn't even require a tuner because you can treat either a light or a dark monster as a tuner for this card synchro summon using 2 monsters that equal level 10. This card is great because if you put a light monster into it, synchro monsters you control are unaffected by monsters activated effects by your opponent. If you put a dark monster in this card, then monsters you control cannot be destroyed with battle, which is insane. This card is a definite 1-of in the build and it's just a really good card overall in the deck to be able to step into as a chaos card. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Blackluster Soldier deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's super fun. It's just being able to OTK your opponent and summon out one of the most nostalgic ritual monsters ever created, Blackluster Soldier. So that's going to do for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell news so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.